I've been saying it quietly for years, but after recent congressional inquiries into Facebook's data mining practices and revelations that companies like Palantir have monetized all data under the sun, it's time to say it louder. We need a national conversation about amending the U.S. Constitution to protect our fundamental and individual right to data, or a digital Bill of Rights. A digital Bill of Rights would go a long way towards restoring America's faith in our essential technological institutions. Additionally, it would provide clear federal guidance to enterprises providing legitimate services to consumers in the digital ecosystem. I realize one doesn't amend the Constitution willy-nilly. It's happened 17 times since the original Bill of Rights, containing the first 10 amendments, was ratified in 1791, thanks to the efforts of James Madison and a band of activists known as the Anti-Federalists. Madison saw these rights as necessary for the tranquility of the public mind. Tranquility of mind is in short supply these days, especially as the average American learns more about data, how it's accessed, processed, and transferred between multiple institutions across the globe. Fact is, our modern lives are increasingly constructed by and defined by our digital transactions, executed across platforms like social media and blockchain. What's clear now is our right to data is as fundamental as it is individual. Data is no longer simply a virtual representation of our real identities, be they political, financial, demographic, instagraphic, or otherwise. Data has become our real identities, and it needs constitutional protection. It's not an insignificant problem that our present Constitution affords no individual data protection, or does so awkwardly through the Fourth Amendment, protecting the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. It's not the founders' fault. They were drafting a document in the 18th century world of parchment paper and muskets, while we're now living in the world of Facebooks and Palantirs. Constitutional law scholars can try to apply 300-year-old thinking to concepts like big data and geo-targeting, but that's like jamming a circle into a square. For example, when someone's personal data is harvested for political targeting without clear and explicit user consent, is the right to be protected in your house or effects violated? Has a physical search or seizure even taken place? Beyond the Fourth Amendment, U.S. agencies have enacted a series of administrative rules geared towards information security. This, in addition to the myriad individual state laws, and the fact that entire industries have now taken matters into their own hands by enacting comprehensive self-regulatory frameworks, contributes to what security experts call our present patchwork system of privacy law. It's just that, a patch. While the patchwork system affords some flexibility to enterprises engaging in large-scale data processing and is a tremendous boon to the legal services industry, multiple layers of legislation make it extremely difficult for legitimate players to comply. It also does nothing to enshrine our individual right to data, the thing we actually need to restore public trust in our critical technology institutions. Recently, the European Union enacted the General Data Protection Regulation. It's a big step towards protecting consumer privacy that American companies are taking very seriously. I view the GDPR as very American in spirit. The US would be wise to emulate the incoming EU privacy regulation in some fashion. Among some of what I'd like to see drafted into our Digital Bill of Rights is a right of erasure, or a right to be forgotten, requiring controllers of data to take steps to delete it under certain circumstances. We could also use a right of access, or the right to obtain a copy of personal data processed in electronic format, including specific details on how your data was used across various entities. Most importantly, by codifying our right to data, we would protect both American individuals operating in the digital ecosystem and American institutions, who for the most part genuinely wish to process data for good in a way that is ethical, fair, and constitutional. So what is Congress waiting for? It's time they bust out the 18th century parchment paper and start drafting our 21st century Digital Bill of Rights. I'm Ian Connett, the founder of Quantum Jurist, and I invite you to join me in this conversation. Thank you.